game. Don't let these tears fool you. It's all dog around this mug. I'm good.
Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones. And yes, I am the host of the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you all so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. On this edition, we're going to be giving our final thoughts on the Saints Week 5 matchup versus the New England Patriots. And we also have a special guest coming on the show a little bit later. Some of you are very familiar with him, I'm pretty sure. He's a native New Orleanian and a guy who is a very good friend to the show, Mr. Derek Augustine. He'll be joining us really, really soon. But thank you all so much for checking us out. Shouts out to everybody in the chat. Shouts out to everybody that's listening, no matter where you are, wherever you may be. Well, I'm pretty sure the Who Dat Nation is excited about the Saints' shutout victory over the New England Patriots. You know, I mean, a lot of things have been said about this game. A lot of mixed emotions as far as how the Saints played and what this means going forward. Will we see, replicas of this type of performance that we saw Sunday again, or will this just be a setup for a letdown? Number one, I just want to say this, and I've said this before, and I apologize for people that follow me on X, formerly known as Twitter, but I mentioned this. I said, in the modern day NFL, to shut out a team in a modern day NFL is nothing to sneeze at. I don't care who you're playing. Like, yeah, people that are trying to downgrade the victory, talking about, the Saints didn't play nobody or the New England Patriots suck. Look, regardless to the fact, this is the NFL. Some of the worst teams in the league can put up at least 7 points. So the fact that the Saints actually issued a shutout against these guys, the Patriots, that's a testament to how good this defense is. And we also seen them do this in years past. We saw them do this last year to a Derek Carr-led Las Vegas Raiders team. So this isn't an outlier. Like, this is a really good defense. And I just think that people that see this, they understand that the Saints have a really good defense. The defense hasn't been the issue. The defense isn't something that we constantly worry about. If the defense have a down game, it's probably just it just wasn't their day. But we know more than likely they're going to bounce back the following week. It was the offense that we had the problem with. And Pete Carmichael heard the scrutiny. Pete Carmichael heard the talk and all of the things that was said about the offense. And I'm pretty sure, they probably sat down and really thoroughly went through a game plan and executed it to the fullest. We just want consistency in the Who Dat Nation. That's all, that's it, and I know people have a problem with it. They're getting mad because people are like, oh man, the Saints put forward a really good performance. They put forward a really good game plan and we should just be happy. But I'm like, to me, I want people to understand this. This is equivalent. And I apologize if this sounds insensitive, but this is the only thing I can think about at this particular time. It's like a person that is in an abusive relationship, like psychologically, verbally, or what have you, right? And it's like, if you're in a bad relationship verbally, right? When somebody just verbally beats you down, and then they do it almost every day, and then one day they just stop, they just don't do it, and somebody says, well, did they do it yesterday? Be like, nah, they didn't say anything to me yesterday, or she didn't say anything to me yesterday. Well, that's a good thing. Like, what about all the other days where, they talked about me, or they, they did something to me? Like, come on, man. Like, the reality is, it's hard for you to get on board when something like this, like, constantly happens. Like, when you set yourself up, right, and you're so optimistic and you're so positive about what's going on, and then all of a sudden Like, I'm supposed to get happy now that you decided that you wanted to be good this particular day. Like, no, consistency is the key. Consistency, you know what I'm saying? Consistency is what it's all about. Like I said, I apologize if that sounds insensitive, but that's the only thing I can think of. Being in a relationship where you're constantly being abused, and then one day, you know what I'm saying, they just decide not to do this to you. And all of a sudden you're just supposed to forget about all the things that happened. No, like even if that person comes to you and says, you know what, I want to turn over a new leaf. I'm sorry about the verbal abuse, this and that. And I've been going through a lot. You still have to put skins on the wall in order for that person to start to believe in what you're saying. That's my whole point. All right. I apologize if I'm triggering some folk with this, but that's the only example that I can possibly use or think about at this particular moment. This New Orleans Saints organization has to give the Saints fans some consistency here. It can't be win one and dominate 1 week, and then the next thing you know, you forget about how to play football the next week, because we're going to find ourselves in the same situation, and you're going to find it extremely hard to try to find individuals that's going to be able to support you consistently. That's my whole point right there, and I'm pretty sure you probably feel the same way. So for the people that's out here saying, you should just be happy, enjoy the win, don't work like that, right? Because you're wondering when the bottom is going to fall out, right? I'm too happy right now. Like, what's going on here? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm too excited. Like, something is about to happen. So hopefully this can be one of those situations where the Saints can actually grow and build from, and we can be excited about it. I mean, we know that this team is capable of these type of performances. We know this. That's the reason why we were so excited at the beginning of the season. We were so excited about the performance, that we knew in our minds that they can be able to put forward because of the offense and the defense collectively. And, when that win one, lose one, win one, lose one, and then all of a sudden, like, they dominate like this, you don't know how to feel. So hopefully they can get back on a winning track. Everybody can stay dialed in, and everybody can just stay focused on the task at hand, and we can move forward and have some better shows and better energy than we had last week. I'm not going to apologize for the way that I felt last week at all. I'm not going to apologize for any articles that I wrote, because the reality is, I mean, I was very, very upset about the way that this team looked. I'm not going to do that, right? I mean, sometimes you say certain things and you give your opinion, and sometimes they may turn out not to be the way that it is. I don't care. Like, I don't mind being apologetic. I don't mind admitting when I'm wrong. I don't mind doing any of those things. The problem is when people have these particular thoughts and views and they pretend like they didn't say these things. Me personally, like, you can call me on anything. If I was wrong about something, I'm fine. But I'm going to continue to express my opinions and views about what I see. And I'm still on the consistency boat. I'm still sailing that boat. Like, this was a great performance. We all feel good. Look, if you've been a Saints fan, you know how victories make you feel going throughout the week. It makes you feel good. Nobody wants to feel like they felt over the last 2 weeks, trying to search for answers and wondering, do we have the right coaches in leadership roles that we need to lead this team? So they have to be consistent in order for Saints fans to consistently be quiet. But let's go ahead and read some of your comments. Shouts out to Slim South, said y'all hit the like button. Yeah, I ask that you hit the like button if you enjoy the State of the Saints podcast. I really do appreciate that. Let's see. Jerry, give me a donut, says Mikey, the Saint fan for life. Let's see. I feel that way too, TJ, waiting for the other shoe to drop. Yeah, and I think that's what other people, are feeling. And like I said, man, it's hard for a person to try to get on board when they constantly just see certain things that may, cause them to be able to be reluctant. Like you got to be able to be consistent. You got to prove. You got to prove to the Who Dat Nation that what we're seeing is the start of something consistent. What's up, brother? Says I don't know exactly what that is. I don't know why it says Facebook user on there. Let's see. Texans won't be as easy. Young but talented. Stroud is decent. Patriots are a solid JV squad. Yeah, Bobby. Look, I think that it's amazing. I mean, I just know people. They've been here so long. Shouts out to Bobby Cross here. But the reality is, this is a really good Houston Texan football team. I mean, CJ Stroud is really, really good. A lot of people feel like he should have been the number one pick. I met him in person, man. He's a solid dude, man. I've had opportunity to talk to him. at the NFL Combine. Like he was actually on his way somewhere, and they had a fan that was a Colts fan, ironically, and he was like, "CJ, can I get a picture?" He stopped, and like in the middle of the conversation, he was talking to someone, stopped, took a picture with him. You know what I'm saying? Like gave the guy a handshake or whatever like that, and that just shows you like the character of this guy. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, like just talking to him as far as like with his interviews, the dude is really dialed in. He's not a guy that has a Mahomes type arm. He's not gonna, throw the ball 70 yards down the field, but he's a consistent quarterback and he's smart and he's like a sponge. He absorbs all type of information, and they have the right leadership when it comes to DeMeco Ryans being their head coach. I mean, they got really good, solid talent on both sides of the ball. You got C.J. Stroud on the offensive side. You got Will Anderson, the young linebacker / DN for coming out of Alabama on the other side. I mean, you got Derek Stingley. I think he's dealing with an injury still. You got some young talent in Tank Dell out of Houston. You got what's the guy name? John Mechie. How can I forget about John Mechie, a guy who was a cancer survivor coming back. I mean, you got Damian Pierce. The list goes on and on. Like this is not going to be an easy out for the Saints, and I think this game to me will be like one of the deciding factors where the Saints are going to go and what type of team that we're actually going to have here. But I see that my guest has made it here today. Once again, I mentioned this at the beginning of the show. A lot of you remember him if you watch All American on CW or catch it on Netflix. He plays the role of Clay, the record producer on there. He's had several other projects playing Muhammad Ali and The Godfather of Harlem. Shay on NBA 2K22. I mean, the guy's out there working. He's a New Orleanian, UNO privateer up in the joint. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Derek Augustine. Derek, how you doing, man?
What's going on, brother? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing fine, man. Thank you for stopping by on the State of the Saints podcast. Anybody that knows you, and you've been on the show quite a few times, they know that you are a New Orleans Saints fan. And I'm glad that you're on this show, on a positive note. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely, man. I thought we were going to come on here and have to talk some smack about our team. But
oh, man, I'm glad we did, man, because that Tampa Bay game, oh, my goodness, man.
Yeah,
my goodness.
I think that was just one of those games we just had to fix up and learn our mistakes to become more successful in the future. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for real, man. I mean, a 34-0 victory. And I was talking about this earlier, Derek, about it's hard to be able to shut out a team in the modern day NFL, man, when the rules are just so skewed towards the offense, man. But looking at that game, man, from start to finish, what do you think about the New Orleans Saints? What do you think about their performance on Sunday?
I think we played good football, man. I think Derek Carr finally played the best game as a Saint. Our defense, man, bro, our defense is – people say it's top 10. I think we honestly have like a top 3 defense, bro. When everything's clicking, you know what I'm saying, which is contingent on the offense success, because the longer the defense stays on the field, they get burnt out and worn down. You know what I'm saying? And they got a bunch of dogs in that team, man. DeMario, Cam, my dog Alante, Alante and Nuke, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
we be talking a lot. He come out here in LA, we be getting a little workout in. But they just got some really hungry leaders on that team and young talent as well, which is a good mesh, which we need the offense to complement them, you know what I'm saying, to give them a break sometimes and put up some scores, which we saw what they could do on Sunday.
Yeah, I think that when you look at the New Orleans Saints, this is the team that we expected to see, Derek. Like at the beginning of the season, while we were so excited, bro, like looking at this team, like, man, Mike T coming back, Chris Olave going from year 1 to year 2. You got Rashid Shaheed out there, and man, when you see how they started off the season and then you lose 2 straight, man, what are your thoughts on the Saints as far as we know the defense is decent. What are your thoughts on the offense, man? And like I know they put forth 34 points, but do you still think are you optimistic about this offense, or are you still kind of like I feel like we need to go in a different direction?
I think hopefully this was a precursor, like I said, to see how things gonna be in the future, man. Look, it's Derek Carr's first year. That's not an excuse, because we saw in Tampa Bay when Baker Mayfield, it's his first year in Tampa and he ran a successful offense. TJ, man, we got too many weapons, bro. We got too many weapons. I heard today in the interview that Rashid Shaheed, he's like compared to like Tyreek Hill and Justin Jefferson as far as yards per catch.
Yeah.
So, and he only had, I think, 4 receptions so far.
Yeah.
So, man, we got to get him more involved, man. 4 receptions this last game. So, what happens if we get him more to 8 receptions? And then we got, Juwan Johnson coming back, Alvin Kamara. Man, we got some dogs, man. And, that's why we were so enthusiastic about this season, because we saw the weapons and Mike T coming back too. Oh, man, we going to the bowl. But TJ, you gotta understand, man. I think what had happened, everyone has to mesh. The offensive line has some growing pains. I think Trevor Penning is getting better, and they've been banged up a little bit. And once we get healthier, man, I think we're gonna be okay. We have to, bro. I was talking to one of my homies today, and we were just talking about, man, as Saints fans, we deserve so much, man, because we were stripped of, I think, 2 or 3 Super Bowls with Drew Brees, bro. He could have had 3 more, and it's like for us now it's now or ever, because you could have rebuilt the team. Mika Loomis could be like, hey man, I'm gonna get rid of these old contracts, these old players. I'm gonna let y'all go. I'm gonna get my cap situation back in order. But no, you didn't do that, man. You kept DA, you kept Carmichael. You went and got the quarterback. You wanted DA. Now it's time for you to. We as fans, we need a return on our investment.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I agree. And I said this before, like, there are no more excuses. I don't care how this season turns out, because even if we are spending most of our time talking about the offensive coordinator, Pete Carmichael, that still was your decision. I mean, you had Cliff Kingsbury that was out there. You had Eric Bieniemy. You had really good offensive minds, and you could have went in a different direction, but you chose to bring back Pete Carmichael. So the woes of the offense, that's on you, because that's based on your decision making. When you were firing your running backs coach and firing all these other guys, I mean, you could have let go Pete Carmichael as well, but you decided to keep him on. What are your thoughts about Derek Carr? I know you mentioned that it's a different system from where he came from in Las Vegas, but this is a guy who has been in the league for 10 seasons now. I mean, and you have to also keep in mind that they brought in John Gruden just to kind of help with the install here. And it's also a West Coast offense, something that he's familiar with. Yeah, the verbiage a little bit different, D, but at the same time, it's still the same offense that you've been running for 10 seasons. So what are your thoughts about him, man?
Man, Derek Carr is a seasoned vet. I don't really know much of him before he came to the Saints, because the only team I watch is the Saints. I'm that loyal. So I didn't really know much about him, but he made a couple Pro Bowls, right? Right. He got the Raiders too, a couple of playoff games, but his excuse was always the defense. I don't think he never made that excuse, but the excuse for that team and for him, that players and us as viewers saw him as, okay, yeah, he's about an average quarterback. He doesn't have a defense. No. You come to the Saints and you have a previous relationship with DA. This is, like you said, it's a West Coast offense. You're familiarized with it, just different terminology. So, man, look, you have to take advantage of your opportunity. That's like for me, when I booked Godfather Harlem, my agents and managers, producers and directors, hey, we got you this job. You got to do the work. So I had to train. I had to go with my acting coach, with the dialect coach, with the movement coach. I had to do my research on Ali so I can put out the best product. Right. For Epic and for Godfather Harlem and for for the people who I represent. Same thing as Derek Carr, man. Look, whatever you got to do to be successful with this new team, this is probably your last shot.
Yeah, that's the point.
So you want a ring, right? And I think, dude, we got so many players on our team that deserve rings. Cam Jordan, Demario Davis, Lattimore. This is their prime, man. We can't lose this opportunity. So I think I think Carr knows the pressure he's on, and hopefully, these last 2, 3, 4 games were growing pains, and now we saw a little bit of taste of the success he could have. Now it's up to him, DA, and Pete Carmichael to put their brains together and draw up some plays that he's comfortable with. Yeah.
Look, there's been a little bit of a debate between Derek Carr and Jameis Winston. I'm pretty sure you heard it, being a Saints fan yourself. What are your thoughts about this? Looking at Derek Carr, having a nice little sample size of Jameis Winston as the Saints quarterback, Do you think that there was a smart decision for them to even try to go with Derek Carr, or are you like on the side of maybe the Saints should have just rolled with Jameis Winston and drafted a young quarterback?
Man, that's a good question. See, I'm a big Jameis Winston fan, bro.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try to take my feelings for him as a person out of it. As far as I think he's a great man of God, I think he's a good leader, good family man.
Yeah.
But on a player standpoint, you gotta take your feelings out of it. And there's a reason why Tampa Bay got rid of him. They won a championship with Tom Brady. There's a reason why Sean Payton left, because the quarterback situation wasn't looking great. And we see how Sean Payton is doing without a Hall of Fame quarterback, right? And there's a reason why DA didn't trust Jameis Winston to lead his team. And for a player standpoint, man, I don't think some of those. I can't speak for the players, but I think majority of those offensive players wanted and defensive players wanted Derek Carr for a reason. You know what I'm saying? So, and also, I think that, like I said, we never saw Derek Carr with a top 10, top 5, top 3 defense like we have here. And I think that was the curse as far as, okay, we got to bring Derek Carr and see what he can do with this defense. Now, like we just talked about, man, it's up to you, Derek Carr. So I do think, honestly, that Derek Carr is a better player, man. And it's tough for me to say it because, I do think Jameis is a great person, man. But we saw the mistakes Jameis was making. Even when he was healthy, man, before he tore his ACL, we saw that he was playing conservative football. In this league, man, look, you can't play conservative football to win anymore, man. It's not the days of Flacco with the Ravens anymore, man. These defensive fronts, these heavy defensive teams are not winning Super Bowls anymore.
Yeah. You got to be able to move. There's a reason why, guys like Jalen Hurts have been successful. Lamar Jackson is successful. Even Mahomes. Like, Mahomes is a pocket passer, but he can move around in that pocket, man. He can extend plays. You got to have that level and that ability. But I agree on that. I think a lot of people, when they evaluate Jameis Winston, it's hard for them to not evaluate his character and the person that he is. Like, how animated he is in the huddles before games and stuff. It just makes you root for him. It's almost like, watching a reality show and, what I'm saying, I don't know, Survivor or something like that. And you just find somebody like, I'm rooting for them. Like, that's kind of how it is with Jameis, But we'll see. I still think he's a starter in the league. I think he'll get opportunity somewhere else. And I think that more than likely, like I said, this is Derek Carr's team. I got to talk to you about the secondary. I know that's near and dear to your heart. You played.
I did play safety in college, man. So I know.
Exactly.
Man, bro. I think we got the best secondary in the league, man. It's just how much complementary football they play, man. As far as each other, the safeties talking to the corners, and we got and Alonte's playing. I think he's a number one as far as balls.
Slot.
Slot. He's number one slot corner right now, man, and pass defended. So it's like we got dogs all across that defense, man. As far as secondary, and then May is coming back this game, and Jordan Houghton been playing. Hey, he been playing some good ball, man.
Man.
Yeah, I just read that he was ranked the number 2 defensive safety as far as games played last Sunday.
Yeah, 88 on Pro Football Focus. He 88, man, second, like you said, man. Great job.
Man, Lattimore holding things down as usual. That's the thing, man. In defense, man, you got to have lockdown corners, man. And luckily, we got 3. We got Alonte, we got Adebo, who's been playing better, and then we got Laddie, Alonte, and Adebo. Then we got great safeties too, man. Tyron is a vet. He's been in this league for a long time. Of course, he's at LSU and St. Louis superstar, and we see how much the defense plays better with him. We just got our first touchdown as far as a defensive pick, and then Marcus May just fits in there perfectly, man. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. The crazy thing about this, Derek, is the Saints had 2 pick sixes over the last couple of years, and both of them came for the Patriots. Mac Jones threw up interception to Malcolm Jenkins, and he returned it for a pick 6. And now the guy that replaced him, Tyrann Mathieu, did the same exact thing, man. So if we play the Patriots every week, man, the defense will be
You better bet on those pick sixes, man.
Yeah, for real, man. So that's a good thing. There was no question that the defense was going to be good. It was just the offense that just needed to kind of get better. Alvin Kamara, man.
Mm-hmm.
He became the all-time leader in touchdowns for the New Orleans Saints with 73. Just watching Alvin Kamara throughout his career, what do you think about AK? And what memories do you have watching him on TV or at the game or what have you?
Let's see, my best memories of him. When did he score like 7 touchdowns for Christmas? It was
you're like Chris, yeah, with Christmas.
Yeah, if Sean Payton won't let us get that last one, man.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, he is an elusive, explosive player, man. And we saw how much he was missed those first 3 games.
Right.
And now he's back. And one thing about Kamara, man, when he hits that hole, you see that burst of agility and speed, man. And we don't see that in our other backs, which hopefully as Kendre Miller progresses, he'll get that he'll get more comfortable in our scheme. But Alvin Kamara is one of a kind. He deserves that record. And, he's taking it from a New Orleans Hall of Famer and Marcus Colston, who should have made multiple Pro Bowls while he was playing. Yeah. But it just goes to show you how much of a spectacular player Alvin Kamara is.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like everybody else is going like 100 miles per hour, and it's just like he just going like 25, 30 miles. Like the way that he can, like the way that he can like just move around and maneuver through certain situations. It's almost like watching somebody do a Rubik's Cube or something like that, or like it's like he already know what he's going to do. He's like 2 steps ahead of everybody. Like this guy might be thinking on his mind like a linebacker. I'm about to tackle this guy. He probably think, okay, I'm gonna just wait. He basically uses the linebacker's momentum, and he basically just goes limp. And then when they just shred off him, it's like amazing just to watch this dude play and how he can just make certain plays look just effortless. Effortless. Like it's crazy.
Well, that's what happened when you're a perfectionist in your craft, right? And you get that level of success. You see how he trains, man. All those balance techniques he practices, and he has a really great hard work ethic as far as off season and preseason leading up to the season, and success is inevitable for him because he works hard, man.
Yeah, he definitely works hard. I mean, like you said, we see those workout routines. We see that balance on the field. We see how smooth he is when it comes to the cuts and just making some of those decisions, man. I mean, we're glad to have him back, especially. The running back room was looking a little bit rough the last couple of weeks when Jamal Williams went down. But
what's going on with Jamal, man?
Yeah, dealing with the hamstring, man. Yeah.
But I think what we saw with him was our offensive line was still trying to figure it out.
Right.
And I think that's why, he wasn't really finding the holes. But hopefully when he comes back from that hamstring injury, man, we'll see why he held the records as far as touchdowns last year, as far as running back. So hopefully we get to see that.
Yeah, he's much better than, just I know how Detroit used him. They used him like in a lot of short yard situations, but he's much better than that. He's a guy who can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can run between the tackles. I was interested to see like how things would have been if he didn't get hurt. I think that people would have saw that he's much more than just a short yardage back. My final question for you is about the offensive line. There was some issues. You mentioned Trevor Penning. A lot of people thought like maybe it was probably best for him to kind of slide on inside to left guard. But over the last couple of weeks, it seems like he's starting to get his footing. And it seemed like the offensive line played probably their best game against the New England Patriots this past weekend. What do you think about this offensive line? Do you think that they need to go in a different direction with a few players? Or do you feel like maybe it's a cohesive thing? Because you got to keep in mind, man, a lot of these guys haven't been playing together. Like one guy comes back, another guy get hurt. So this is like this is probably the longest time I've seen this offensive line play with one another, for a minute. So what are your thoughts on the offensive line?
I think it starts with Trevor Penning protecting the blind side. And people were kind of shunning him at first, but I always knew that he was going to eventually evolve into a great player because when Armstead first came to the league, man, I heard that he wasn't. It took him a couple of games to get everything fluid and to become one of the offense. And like you said, some of them been in and out of the lineup, and we don't have that cohesiveness, man. Unfortunately, we see them having trouble. And in today's league, man, those defensive linemen are fast, and when they're running stunts and you haven't been practicing with your O-line, your teammates, your brothers, it's hard to navigate. Hey, this defensive lineman will hit a stunt, so I need you to go this way or come more my way. Where you haven't been practicing together, man. So like I said, hopefully they're getting healthier, and we'll see them as a number one cohesive unit and playing together and picking up stunts and protecting Derek Carr, because Derek Carr needs time in that pocket. I think that's what the Raiders fan were kind of skeptical about him, because once he gets pressure, man, he makes some stupid mistakes. So they have to make sure that they're protecting him and giving him enough time to throw the ball down the field, and now open up more, passing lanes for like Raheem Shaheed and Chris Olave, who needs to be playing better, man. That's my dog, but come on, bro, you got to catch those balls, man. I know you try to put on weight. I know you've been working on your hands, but you got to work on holding on to the ball once you make impact with that ground.
Yeah,
bro.
yeah, that's been my issue, man. Like when people were talking about, him being a number one receiver, that was my biggest gripe about him. It was those 50-50 balls. Like when, like not just catching the ball because you taking the top off the defense or you like wide open, like that's a give me. And he's a really good route runner. It's just the contested catches. And honestly, man, it wasn't much of a battle like that touchdown he could have caught, man. It just man, he hit the ground and then the ball flew out. And that's kind of just been a constant. And I think once he masters that, he'll be like one of the best in the league, man. Like he has the capability to get at least, 100, 120 yards in his sleep. So I think he in his own head too, man. I think that game against Tampa, where he wasn't really getting as many targets, he was kind of frustrated. It seemed like to me like maybe he's in his own head or something like that. But I think he needs to play free. And I don't know. I just think that maybe he knows he's supposed to be the number one receiver and he's feeling that particular pressure. But, man, you got to be able to have fun and kind of calm down and relax and play your game. I think he'll be okay, man.
I think he's going to be all right too, man. Look, one thing we have he's a crisp route runner. He's very smart. He knows how to position his bodies in ways to catch the balls and not get hit. But that's why we got MC, though, TJ, you know what I'm saying, for those contested catches. And that's why we got great tight ends for those contested catches. So we don't need him to be that, but we do need you to catch the balls that's in your hands, bro. But I think he's gonna be all right. I think he's like you say, he's probably in his head a little bit, but that's why you got real homies around you to tell you, hey, bro, get out your head, man. We don't need that diva stuff, or we don't need, you got to be catching the ball, man, because you're number one pick for a reason. Yeah, so I think we're gonna be all right, man. And I think it helps that he has veteran leaders around him, like MC, like AK to keep him level headed. You feel me?
Yeah. I think he'll be okay. I think that as the weeks go by, you're really going to see him perform well. I expect to see him have a better performance against the Houston Texans, even though that's not going to be easy out. It is not like they play hard. They play hard. They want to win.
Young team too, man. They're a young team. They got young coaches there. They got a very young defense and very young offense. So I think as far as like the future wise, they have a lot to look forward to, the Texans, and I think they're cognizant of that too. You feel me?
Yeah. The Saints better be ready for this game because this is
not
going to be like
I think we have to win this game because we got a short week against the Jaguars, and Trevor Lawrence has been balling, bro. Yeah. So I think this will give us a little boost to go into the Jaguars and be like, hey man, we're not losing another game. Let's keep this little offensive cohesiveness together and let's go win some games. Let's go on a little winning streak right here.
Yeah. I think, look, you scored 34 points, and honestly, there was a lot of things that was missing, a lot of things that, to be desired from this offense. So if you can put up 34 points, not even really putting forth the effort that we really are accustomed to seeing, from the days of the Breeze and Sean Payton calling the play. Yeah. If you can do that, then imagine what you can do when you're clicking on all cylinders.
Awesome. Great defense.
I'm looking forward to that. But Derek, thank you so much, man, for being a part of the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you for your time. I know you're out there in the West Coast and doing it up there, man, doing some really great things. Let everybody know, about things that you're doing and how they can get in touch with you.
Oh man, y'all can follow me on social. Just Derek Augustine at DericAugustine. Man, we got renewed for season 6 for All American. Unfortunately, we're still in the actor strike right now, but hopefully We'll get back to filming soon. They're writing. They're in the writers' room right now, solidifying everything. But I got the graphic novel on the way, and my other novel, Nolans, which will be out next year, man. So things are up and running, man. I'm excited about my journey and my future endeavors, but I'm excited about this football team too, man. Because, dude, I've been a Saints fan for a long time, bro. Since my mom used to put me in Saints gear, watching Bobby Abear, when I didn't know what was going on, just watching what's going on. To Aaron Brooks, to finally getting Drew Brees and having a great offense and his poor defenses, and to winning the Super Bowl, and to now. And man, like I said, this team has what it takes, bro. We just got to make sure we come together.
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, they have all the pieces to be successful. And I definitely can relate to you, man. I mean, my grandmother is the reason why I like the Saints so much, man. She been rocking with the Saints since they started. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
I mean, and that's the reason, honestly, I'm into broadcasting now, because the games used to be blacked out. And I used to have to listen to Jim Henderson on WWL, man. So because of that, I just fell in love with radio. So, man, definitely been a Saints fan my whole life, man. And thank you so much for sharing some of your opinions and views about the team, man. Look forward to talking and speaking with you, in the future. Hopefully we have some more positive things to talk about. Look forward to your projects too, man. We definitely support you, man. I mean, look, you from the boot, man. So we definitely gonna support you in everything you're doing.
I'm from that city, All right, man. I appreciate y'all, bro.
All right. Thank you so much, Derek, man. You take it easy.
Thank you, bro. All
right. Yeah, shouts out to Derek, man. Derek Augustine, ladies and gentlemen. Good dude right there, man. That's my guy. But yeah, man, I mean, there's a lot of things that he said, that's true. Like you got the Saints offense. We all thought that this offense was going to be bomb. They have the capabilities of being bomb. And, if they could consistently like put forth the effort, then I think they'll be fine. I'm going to go ahead and open up the phone lines, take a few of your calls a little bit. Give your final thoughts on the Saints. The Saints performance in week 5, your thoughts about the Saints taking on the Texans in week 6. And I'm asking everybody once again, let's keep them to a minimum, 2 to 5. Sure we breeze past them, no pun intended. But let me read some of your comments in the meantime here. And shouts out to everybody here. Let's see. Carr cannot handle pressure, so how confident can we be with him at the quarterback? Well, look, we ain't got no choice but to be confident in him as the quarterback, because, that's the direction the New Orleans Saints are going in. So you have to be able to have a level of confidence in him. We're going to go to No Cap, No Filter. How you doing, man?
What up, TJ? You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, man. What you got for us?
Yeah, man, I want to apologize for the last stream, man. I ain't even know I was talking that long, man. The chat had got on my butt, man. We're going to have to get you a ticking alarm clock to let people know, you got like 1 minute left. You're 5 minutes up, man.
Man, yeah, I mean, it's no big deal, man. It ain't no big deal. I mean, a lot of the things that you were saying, like, in order for people to kind of understand where you was coming from, I had to let you finish. I couldn't cut you off in the middle of it. So, but it's fine, man. Go ahead. What you got for us today?
Yeah, it's 5:57. I'm gonna make sure I'm done at 6:02.
All right.
but yeah, man. I just want to get on DA about, we was all on P. Carmichael for, putting up these play actions, putting up these motions. And it's crazy how we don't do play actions, but Jameis and Carr is good at the play action. But man, I hope they could get on DA about stopping these mobile quarterbacks, because we need this win, bro. We need this win. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we can stop these mobile quarterbacks from extending these drives on these third downs, that'll be clutch for us, So hopefully we could put an end to that narrative and we get that out the way. And then another thing about DA, if we don't get it done this year, I think he's a good defensive coordinator, but I don't think he's a good head coach and just a leader of men. And I just don't trust him like that. So I'm willing to take a hit on a defense and get another defensive coordinator if we could get a good head coach and a good leader of men in the locker room. And one thing I want to say about DA, I give credit when the credit is due, and he's building a good roster. Like he does an amazing job at, getting roster and personnel and all that in order to win. But it's a problem when he's in game, and Pete Carmichael. And I think he'll be a good person, like in a player personnel and like, roster renovating for like you know, that the position Jeff Ireland got. I think he'll be a good person like that instead of a head coach. I don't think that's his calling. So, because coaching matters, man. Because even though I think we got a good roster, I think if if you take DA and put him on the Chiefs, and you take Andy Reid and put him on the Saints, it'll be two different records for both teams right now. That's how coaching matters, and I think we got a better roster than the Chiefs.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. And Michael Thomas, like I said, man, I think the offense need to move through him. He's just trustworthy. He's just efficient, and a lot of them drives, Michael Thomas is open. He just ain't get the ball thrown to him, and people just think you got to be a high flyer nowadays to be a wide receiver one. You don't. Like, nobody's complaining about that when he caught that record-breaking year. And he's not a high flyer. Justin Herbert ain't complaining with Keenan Allen. And look at what Keenan Allen doing in his 30s. You know what I'm saying? So we got to just get out of that, got to be a high flyer. And yeah, we got an easy schedule. But one thing I talk about an easy schedule, as long as you dominating and as long as you're going on winning streaks, that's how I see your measuring stick. Like the Cowboys had their measuring stick with the 49ers. We seen what happened. But if you got a schedule like us that's weak, as long as we going on win streaks, that's a 4-game win streak, that's how they're going to show me. You know what I'm saying? The 4-game win streak and we dominating teams, that's our measuring streak like that. And, at the end of the day, we just starting off. We got some woes we going through. But at the same time, you don't want to peak too early. We've seen this with teams a lot. You want to start peaking like right after the bye and get hot, just like how the Bucs did. The Bucs, they was having problems with the offense, and Tom Brady said, man, we need to run the ball more. And we need to start doing this. They made some tweaks and they figured it out, and they ain't looked back ever since. You know what I'm saying? I think after the bye week, hopefully we on the same page. You know what I'm saying? We start running the ball more because we got 3 monsters back there. We need to start running the ball more. Hopefully by the trade deadline, we get a guard or something like that can help because Hurts can't block. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully we could do that and we run the ball more. And, people think that AK can't run up the middle. It's different when you got a quarterback and you got all these receiving threats. You know what I'm saying? He can run up the middle. Contrary to popular belief, he run better up the middle than side to side. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I'm saying. And DA, I'm not hoping that he does bad, but it'll be a shame if he can't get it done. And we wasting a lot of these dudes' prime years like Taysom and Sean and Cam and DD.
Right. Yeah, I mean, look, that makes really good sense. And Derek Augustine, who was just on the show, he said the same exact thing. Like you got Cam Jordan, you got Demario Davis, they're in their prime, and these guys want to win, man. And I feel bad that the Saints didn't do what needs to be done in order for Cam to at least see one Super Bowl. Like like now we know that the only way Cam Jordan is going to see a Super Bowl is going to have to be in the Saints uniform. And I feel bad. Like I would rather see Cam Jordan go somewhere else, like a team that's winning and has a real good chance of winning a Super Bowl, than to just see this guy never put up these type of numbers, be this consistent, and never reach the Super Bowl. Like that would be awful, man. So I would rather, see him win one, at least go to one and see what it's like and be able to experience it. But
you're right, because they got this buddy system going on, and you see what happened when Sean he got rid of that buddy thing, and I think the DA doing the same thing with Pete. But if we gonna fire him, try to offer him a job higher up in management or something, because I think he's good with roster building and personnel. But I'm gonna go ahead and let the next caller get they just doing. I just want to say thanks for the let me shout out my platform with the No Cap No Filter Saints YouTube. I gained some more subscribers, and man, keep doing your thing, TJ.
Yeah, man, you do the same thing, and good luck to you, man. You always have something positive to say. You're always making sense, and it will make perfect sense if you subscribe to No Cap No Filter channel, man. So y'all make sure y'all subscribe to it, and thank you so much for chiming in, man.
All right, man, keep the content coming, TJ.
Will do, man. You do the same.
All right.
Yeah, man. Shouts out to No Cap No Filter. Look, man, I'm all for people trying to build with a podcast and when they're consistent and trying to do something positive, man. Like I ain't got, I'm happy that you have people out here that that's starting podcasts, because they got something to say, and there's always different perspectives, and there's always different ways that we can entertain people. So man, shouts out to No Cap No Filter. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel, man. We're gonna go to Money Mick. What's happening, man?
What's going on, good brother?
Man, I'm doing all right, man. What you got for us this evening?
Hey, I got a question for you, man. I
Mm-hmm.
got a question for you. I need your expertise.
Okay.
I've been watching the Saints like last few games closely just to make
Mm-hmm.
sure I'm not tripping. But do you think the Saints could possibly be able to dominate teams if they just completely turn into a running football team and maybe limited Carr to about 25 attempts a game? And the reason I ask that is because I'm thinking you got the defense for it to keep you in games to where you don't have to constantly be throwing yourself back into it. As long as you're not turning the ball over. But it just seems like they have so many variations. Even no cap, no filter was saying it. It seems like they have so many variations to run the ball, and they did it pretty well versus the last team we played. So I'm wondering, man, what do you think on that?
Man, look, Mick, I think we all on the same page here. And I think I said this before. I said the Saints are a running football team. The only ones that don't know that yet are the Saints. I just like I look at like the San Francisco 49ers, not so much now with Brock Purdy, but with Jimmy Garoppolo. And it was the year where they went to the Super Bowl. Man, I never forget that NFC Championship game versus the Green Bay Packers. Jimmy Garoppolo threw the ball 10 times.
Right.
They ran that. Green Bay knew that they were going to run the ball, and they just couldn't do anything to stop it. And they did it with like 3 different running backs, right? They had at the time they had Raheem Mostert. I think they had Coleman, and they had another running back. I can't think, his name escapes me. I can't remember. But they had a 3 running back set, and these guys were just running the football. And they really couldn't stop it because he kept on like switching, and you know what I'm saying? It was doing like different motions, and it was hard for teams to be able to decipher what the hell they were doing. I think the Saints need to do the same thing. What's the point of going out here drafting Kendre Miller? What's the point of going sign Jamal Williams and having Alvin Kamara if you're not going to run with all 3 of them?
Right.
It's like to me, I think if they start to establish the run, because clearly all the members of your offensive line, like they're better at run blocking than pass protecting. So if you put them in that position more so than actually pass protecting, I think you'll have yourself a dangerous offense. And also it will open up opportunities for guys like Olave, for guys like Mike T. And also you can even add Rashid Shaheed to like the run package. Like I seen a couple plays last night when I was watching the Raiders in the Packers game. It was a couple like jet sweeps and handoffs I seen they was given to wide receivers. I'm like, why the Saints can't do something like that with Shaheed? Yeah. So they got the talent. I definitely agree with you, man. They definitely need to maybe focus on the run a little bit more than the pass. But would Derek Carr be willing to accept it? That's the question. And will they be willing to, have that conversation with him?
Yeah, you know what? And I don't want to sound like a crazy man for what I'm about to say, but I'm wondering, like, everything you just said about the 49ers, and not to sound crazy, but are the Saints really that much different from the Niners? Like, you have Christian McCaffrey. We have Alvin, who's a versatile running back. 49ers have Deebo Samuels. We have, like you said, Shaheed, who literally is proven he can go in on those jet sweeps and be even a vertical threat down the field. We have the defense, like the 49ers have the defense. We have Taysom, which most teams haven't. They've tried to take that and duplicate that from the Saints, but they haven't been able to do that. But Taysom still moves the ball effectively. And then now you have, young Pierre Thomas, a.k.a. Miller, that we add into this thing as well, and Jamal Williams. So I'm just like, I've been watching. I'm like, man, am I missing something? Because it seems like when they run the ball and they setting themselves up for 3rd and 2s and 3rd and 3s, opposed to 3rd and 10 or 3rd and 11, where the defense is just teeing off on guys, and Carr's about to get sacked. The only thing that the Niners have better than the Saints is the quarterback at this point, because I think Brock Purdy is the real deal.
That ain't no outlier. Like that guy's really good.
Yeah, I think so. But Carr seems like he does better when the play action is working, and he's just a compliment to it. But I don't know, man. I'm just a man that just watched the game, but I'm just like, this just kind of seems kind of obvious. Like, And you really just need Carr not to turn the ball over and make plays when needed. And I just don't see many people beating the Saints if that formula is intact.
I think also we have to understand too is I get it, you know, but you also have to take into account the 49ers got Shanahan. You know what I'm saying? They got Kyle Shanahan. Like this dude is like one of the best offensive minds in football, you know, and has been for a long time. So I mean, look, I don't know about that. I don't know. Look, Kyle Shanahan versus Pete Carmichael. I mean,
they
ain't even in the same state, dude. Like for real. Like Kyle Shanahan is a really good coach. Like man.
we have a high school coach and offensive coordinator. You're right. You know what?
Man,
I kind of put my foot in my mouth on now. Yeah, they got Shanahan and we got what's that dude that played Sean Payton in the Sean Payton movie? That was on Netflix. That's who we got.
Yeah, Kevin James.
We got Kevin James at OC in a Saints uniform, dressed in disguise. So you know what? Yeah, I hate that it's so much talent. And like you said, like you think about guys like Cam Jordan and Demario Davis, and it's like, man, it feels like we about to watch what happened to Drew all over again. Like, they didn't get this man a defense until Drew became noodle arm, and it's like we might not get the Saints offense until Cam, and Cam's already kind of slowing down, in my opinion, you know?
Yep.
But I don't know, man. I just wanted to ask you that, though, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem, Mick, man. Make sure you call back anytime, man. Appreciate it.
Take it easy.
All right, you too. Yeah, I mean, look, I think in hindsight, I mean, like that would be great, right? If they could be able to do that. Like if the Saints can become like what the 49ers are, like that would be great. But I can't see that happening. I honestly, no matter if the offense turns around or not, I still feel like this is Pete Carmichael's last year. And I'm not expecting for the Saints to have a top 5 offense. I'm just not, because I feel that Pete Carmichael is not going to be able to consistently put forth these type of offensive efforts every single week. I'm just not, you know, like I don't feel that way. And I feel like it's probably going to be some weeks they look good, some weeks they don't look so good. And it's going to be like a mixed bag. I don't feel like the Saints are really going to reach their full offensive potential until they find another offensive coordinator. And I'm pretty sure like Pete Carmichael is still going to be around because the Saints have so much respect for him. He's been with the organization for a long time. I can't see the New Orleans Saints just allowing the dirt sheets to say that Pete Carmichael was fired. Like, I can't see that. I can see it like them saying like Pete Carmichael steps down as offensive coordinator. I can't see them like just completely like just throwing this guy away. I just can't see it that way. But regardless, if we can just get through the season and maybe find another offensive coordinator the following year, I don't see Dennis Allen, as much as I've said this, I don't see Dennis Allen getting fired. Like, I really don't. Like, they like him. And also the fact that the team responded after an embarrassing loss like that tells you that he still has the locker room. So as long as he has the locker room, like they're going to continue to roll with him. And as long as that defense is looking top notch, they're going to roll with him. Like, I feel like the next year is probably going to be the year where the Saints, if things don't pan out with Dennis Allen, they decide to go in a different direction, because they'll probably give him opportunity to get another offensive coordinator and see what happens. But, you know, I just think they need to go in a different direction when it comes to the offensive coordinator. Like, nothing, like I don't know Pete Carmichael like that, but I just think that he just does not have the consistency as offensive coordinator, and he struggles with the ebbs and flows of games on a consistent basis. I feel like, you know, if you're asking him to do it maybe once or twice a year, maybe even 3 times, I think that he'll be able to call some plays, but ask him to do it game in, game out, I just think that he struggles with that. And sometimes I feel like if that's the case, then maybe you need to roll around Curry and allow Pete Carmichael to be able to kind of take the back seat, maybe assist Ronald Curry. Okay, man, I saw this. You know, they showed us this look. You know, how about we do this? Alvin has been looking great doing this. You know, maybe y'all need to switch it up a little bit, you know, and maybe that'll work. The Niners know how to feed their playmakers. We don't. LOL. Only difference to me, we absolutely have weapons everywhere like they do. I give them the tight end edge, though. Yeah, I mean, George Kittle is a beast. You know, we had 3 touchdowns Sunday against the Cowboys. I mean, they dominated that game. You know, that's a dangerous team right there. I can't. Well, you're gonna have to bring a lunch pail and a hard hat to play the 49ers this season, because I don't see too many losses on that schedule. Rushing with all 5, including Hill and Shaheed, will also give each of them more longevity, and they'll stay less banged up. I agree with that. Like, if you got enough horses in a barn, you know, like, you ain't got to keep on using the same horse, right? You know, you got a bunch of thoroughbreds in there. You can have them at your disposal. I think that's what the Saints need to do. I mean, what's the point of drafting these guys and signing these guys if you're not going to use them and letting them just basically waste away? I feel like Jake Hayner's process is faster than Carr based on what I've seen. I mean, basically what you've seen was in a preseason game, though, to be honest. I mean, a lot of those guys that you've seen Jake Hayner going up against are probably in the USFL, the XFL, or probably wishing them well, you know what I'm saying? Because they civilians just like you and me. You know, the speed of the game is a completely different. You know, I ain't seen Jake Hayner when he going up against starters, you know, so it's kind of hard for me to like look at him and say, oh, he's the answer. I got to see this thing in real time. I think that Jake Hayner is a solid quarterback. I think that he's accurate. I also think that his size is probably going to be, you know, an issue. So the Saints are going to probably have to have him kind of roll out a little bit. But I think that he's a guy that can be in the league for a long time. As a starter, I don't know. I don't know. But I'm not saying that he can't be. I just haven't seen it when it actually matters. There's a difference between going up against guys that are basically just, you know, bench warmers or practice squad guys versus going up against, you know, Will Anderson and, you know, some of those other like beastly defensive linemen and great secondary players that the Texans have. Like, it's a difference. And, you know, that's a small sample size. So I'm not saying that he can't be great. Now, I don't want anybody to be like, man, TJ, you said that Jake Hayner can't play. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying I haven't seen him do it when it mattered. Like, that kind of stuff matters. Like, I don't put too much stock into preseason. I just don't. Like, guys make plays, yes, but when you go out there and you perform well against starters in the league, guys that are credible, then I have to look at you different. But I'm not saying you the answer going up against third string guys and guys that's working at your local Planet Fitness right now. Let's see. If you line up our offense versus theirs, let's see, better man for man. You say is better man for man. I don't know about that. I don't know what we talking about the 49ers. That's just homer talk right there. That offense, the Saints offensive line or guppies compared to the 49ers offensive line. Like, man, there's not a week that don't go by I don't see an offensive lineman for the 49ers slapping somebody in the face. Like, how many times have we seen Trent Williams like slap somebody in the face? Like, basically like just punk somebody, push them up out of the way, like just nasty. Like, the Saints don't really like the only person on the Saints offensive line that you can say is nasty is Trevor Penning. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he'll give you a little something extra after a play. Who else is doing that on the line? Andrews Pete? Eric McCoy? Like, Caesar? Like, any one of those guys? Like, come on, man. When it comes to offensive line, that's a joke. I guess you can talk about like skill positions. Yeah. If you going Chris Olave against Brandon Ayuk, I take Chris Olave. If you're going up against Chris McCaffrey versus AK, man, I mean, I'll roll with AK, even though I feel like, Chris McCaffrey is really good. I think that AK is on that same level, you know what I'm saying? Even though I feel like Chris McCaffrey is on another level this season. Definitely George Kittle is better than any tight end that we have. Deebo Samuel, I think that Michael Thomas is better than Deebo Samuels as an overall wide receiver. Like, as a receiver, Michael Thomas is better. As far as doing a multi-facet of things, then you have to give it to Deebo Samuel. So, yeah, I mean, there's some there, and defensively, their linebackers are better. Like, I like the Mario Davis, I like P. Warner, but they ain't messing with Dre Greenlaw and Fred Warner. They're just not. The secondary, I feel like the Saints secondary is better than the 49ers secondary. I will concede to that. But the one common denominator that they have over the Saints is coaching. right? And that's what it comes down to in crucial situations. When it comes down to making the decision and what to do in certain situations, I think that the 49ers has the edge. So, I mean, to me, it ain't even you can, if you're looking at it, you know, in a grand scheme of things, you can make an argument for that. But as far as what the 49ers are having being a tough physical football team, and the Saints ain't messing with it. Like the Saints ain't touching the 49ers. The 49ers are a tough, physical, smart football team. And the Saints are a mixed bag. Like they may be a smart physical football team in week 5, but then they'll look like, I don't know, the Patriots next week. They'll look like the team that they beat to sleep the following week. So we need some consistency there. Do I feel like if the Saints are dialed in, would they make it interesting? Yeah, because we've seen it, right? I mean, the Saints lost, 13-0 against the 49ers? So the 49ers only scored 13 points. So with that being said, you know, you got to say that, okay, if you play them, you know, then, you know, the Saints are making it interesting, but you got to put up some points too. You got to put up some points. I'm going to read a few more, and then we're going to go ahead and get up out of here, man. I apologize, but Coastal Carolina is playing tonight against App State, so I got to catch that. Check it out so I can go ahead and hopefully Coastal Carolina get it done. They have lost 2 straight as well, so hopefully they can get it done tonight. They taking on App State, so got to watch that so I can write about it. Let's see. We gave them their lowest point last year, though. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, I mean, but the Saints didn't score any points. You know, you got to be able to score some points here. And P. Carmichael was the offensive coordinator. Yeah, Andy Dalton was the quarterback. But in hindsight, like, it being real, like, is there a difference between the quarterback play of Andy Dalton and the quarterback play of Derek Carr from last season and Derek Carr this season? I mean, have you seen a difference? I mean, pretty much the stat lines being pretty much the same, and you can make an argument that Andy Dalton played better. Yeah, I mean, what does Derek Carr have? Derek Carr, what he has, like 4 touchdowns, 2 picks this as of right now. I mean, Andy Dalton, that was around his stat line, you know, around this time last year as well. So is there much of a difference? Is my question. I say the Eagles can beat them. Eagles probably can beat them, but I mean, I think the 49ers can beat the Eagles. I don't think the Eagles are the same team, you know. I don't. Like, I know they winning and everything like that, but I don't think they are the same team. And I think the 49ers, they're motivated by what happened in the NFC Championship game. The fact that they felt like they probably would have made it more interesting if Brock Purdy would have stayed in the game. And I honestly feel that way. Like, if he would have stayed in that game, there ain't no way in the world the Eagles would have got off that easy. Like, the Eagles basically coasted to the Super Bowl. Like, when you got Chris McCaffrey out there trying to throw the football, like, you know, it's pretty much over. It's over. I actually think they are. They have 3 young rookies on defense that are very good. Facts, TJ. Yeah, look, I think the Eagles, I think with Shane Steichen leaving, going to Indianapolis as the head coach, I think that his relationship with Jalen Hurts, you know, I think it mattered. Like, I think that when you have a coordinator, a quarterback's coach that kind of relates to a quarterback, and, you know, the relationship looked good and that coach ended up leaving, I think you start to see a little bit of a difference. And I've watched the Eagles play. I think I watched every game for the exception of this past week that they played. And you can tell that there's a difference, you know, and I just think that the 49ers are dialed in. They are motivated. They are motivated to make it back to the championship game, and they want the Eagles. And they playing like it. And they're playing like they're saying, okay, we got y'all in Philly last time. Come to Levi Stadium and let's see what's happening. Like, that's the way that they're playing. You know, and I mean, you got to give credit where credit is due, man. Look, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I watch a lot of football. I don't just watch the Saints. Yeah, and of course, y'all know. I mean, I cover. I got the Gumbo Pot brand going, so I mean, I watch all the football games, and I can tell you, man, they got some good teams out here, man. I know sometimes we get lost in the sauce of the Saints, and you know, but I encourage you, man. I know it seems like the sky's falling and everything is bad all the time, but when you start looking at teams like the Giants, who, you know, I mean, offensive line like gave up 11 sacks. I mean, they were just teeing off on Daniel Jones. I'm talking to Seahawks in last week on Monday night. And then, you know what I'm saying, he getting sacked left and right. You seeing like in aptitude, the offense, like, you know, with the New England Patriots. Like, I just encourage you, man, just to take some time. And I don't know if some of you have the NFL Red Zone, but I encourage you to check it out, man. There's a lot of teams out here, man. These boys playing like straight up 100% slow. It ain't just the Saints, you know. So, and there's also some really good teams out here with some great offensive concepts, with a good combination of good, solid defense. And, you know, they're winning a lot of football games. Like, I enjoy watching the Detroit Lions play. I enjoy watching the 49ers play. I like watching the Eagles play. I like watching there's another, the AFC team. I like watching the Chargers play because it's always going to be interesting. There's a lot of teams out here that are playing some good football, and there's some teams out here that has a lot to be desired. So it ain't all bad. And if you watch those teams, you'll realize, if you're a Saints fan, it ain't all that bad. But I want to say thank you all so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. I ask that you hit the like button if you enjoyed the show. Also want to thank my guest, Derek Augustine, for stopping by, man. Shouts out to him. Make sure that y'all support Derek on the CW network, watching the show All American. You can check it out on Netflix right now if you haven't seen it before. He's tearing it up there. You can check out Godfather of Harlem on Epic. And he's doing so many different things, man. So want to support the hometown guy. As y'all can see, he knows what he's talking about. He loves the Saints just as much as everybody here, and really do appreciate that. Also want to thank Mick. Want to thank No Cap, No Filter. I want to thank them for chiming in, being a part of the show. And I look forward to seeing the content of No Cap, No Filter. I seen Hoodie Jube off in this thing earlier. I want to thank him as well. I'm pretty sure everybody here knows Hoodie. Said, dang, is TJ. I was looking forward to hearing from Spencer. Oh, man. Yeah, man. Shouts out to Spencer James, man. Hopefully, I don't know if he's into football, ironically. I don't know if he's into football like that or not, but it's just good to actually have people, you know, that can come on to the show, man. Derek is a guy who, you know, supports the show. He's always like, you know, talking and expressing himself about the team. And, you know, it's all love over there, man. Good, solid dude. And thank you all so much for being here as well. Shouts out to everybody in the chat. And thank you all for your love and your support. We'll be back as we flip the page from week number 5. We focus on week number 6. Saints going to Houston to take on the Houston Texans. That should be an interesting game to watch. And hopefully the Saints can be able to build on the momentum that they have from this game. And also, I'm asking everybody to check out the State of the Saints podcast on HNSN. That's HNSN. Download the app. There's a weekly episode of the State of the Saints podcast. It's not the same podcast that you hear here. It's a different show. I'm talking completely different about the team. So if you want a different perspective, if you want a different episode that you haven't seen, download the HNSN app. You will really support me by doing that. We're trying to grow that podcasting network and try to make it as successful as possible. And I need wonderful folks like yourself to download it from your Apple Store or your Google Play Store and support me. All right. Also, you can check out previous episodes of this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM. Also, you can follow me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at TJAY Jones 8. Till next time, all I gotta say is, who dat?
Hey, don't let these tears fool you. It's all dog around this mug. I'm good.